Okay. 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 Finally, let's go. Oh my god, what a day. What a damn day. But that doesn't matter now because we're going to get into it. Okay, let's get this up here. Get that up so I can watch it. Make sure my voice is all good. Okay, cool. Got a 10-second delay about what I want. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go. Let's fly a helicopter. Holy crap. Everything is going not right tonight. That's about to change. I don't want to say sadly. I wanted to do this live again, but I don't want to fly at night. So we'll start that at, what is that? 6 o'clock. It's cool. Okay. Let's go. Let's actually fly. I do not and will not understand how technology wants to change everything it does all the time. I will never get that. I don't do anything different. Usually in the mornings when I start doing stuff around the computer during the day, I'll plug in my VR headset here to let it recharge up. And when I put it on here earlier, at my first of many attempts to get on here and stream, it was at maybe 35%, something like that. So don't know how or why it decided to do that. Also, for some reason, I was just having trouble connecting. I typed episode 5 instead of episode 4. That was my fault. That was an easy fix in the title. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of little things wrong, and I figured it was just easier to sit back, reevaluate, plug the headset straight into the wall instead of letting it run on the computer. Yeah. Not that bad. Anyways, we're going to work at getting into it today. We will be heading here. I wonder if I can use my EFB here. Still no. Thanks for fixing that, guys. Much appreciated. We here in Johnson Executive, Kansas City, and we will be flying up to Sioux City, I believe. I don't think we're going to go all the way to Sioux Falls. We're going to go to Sioux City. And, yeah, should be a good time. We'll wait for these gauges to load in. Don't need them, but we're going to wait, you know. We'll get our eyes as straight as we can here. See, right now, I'm sitting straight forward, but I'm facing off to the right there. Nope, I'm still kind of facing to the right. There we go, that feels straightforward-ish. Cool. Let me text my homies. Okay, let's see. Let's get started. Gauges have loaded in. The string from my headset that was entering my nose is gone. Let's walk through the startup process. We're going to turn the battery on. We're going to mute our little horn there. And we're going to turn our anti-collision lights on, which is the strobes, which if I go to the outside view now, you can see we have the strobe on. That's letting this idiot who's going to walk into the blades know that he's going to die soon. Next up, we make sure our fuel is on. Fuel quantity is showing. I should be full on fuel. I don't know why it was showing lower, but I have a little cheat key on my keyboard to be full on fuel, but we should be full on fuel since we're starting here. I have a starter button on my cyclic here. I'm going to press that instead of pressing this. And as we do that, we will see N1 start to rise. Also, this is the 206L3 from Cowan Sim. I'm going to click this there into idle. We'll allow like 8 to 10 seconds of that. It's going back down as it should. I can't hear the helicopter. Okay, cool, we're good. I need a little bit of volume for myself, but I don't want it to get in the way of all of y'all's listening experience. Generator is now on. Avionics, pitot heat, and position lights. Flick my landing lights on there. We have everything running. We have the rotor RPM where it needs to go, which is what we're looking at right here. Oil pressure's good, temperature's good, torque's good. Green, 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 green. We are good to go. So we're going to do a call in real quick. Johnson County Executive, this is helicopter 42069 Fuckwagon number 2. Fuckwagon number 1 is being left here for maintenance, which was the H-145 from last night. We are taking off from the Cool Kids Club, and we are going to be departing from the north, straight from the ramp, Johnson County traffic. So we'll pick up on the collective and cancel everything out. Get a nice hover to figure out what this L3 is like. I don't have a lot of time in this particular model. Have a good bit of time in at nighttime last night. I know my bandwidth is low. And everything's still in the green, still got plenty of torque. Kind of riding the edge of that height velocity diagram there. We are moving and we are happy. Turn off the Wi-Fi on my phone, just that way we can get a little bit better streaming for you fellas. Okay, now we're paying attention. Do I have radar altimeter on here? I just got like a decision height beep. I don't see one as a steam gauge. No, don't think so. Okay, whatever. I'm going to head north up this street here. Also, today we are wearing the Air Evac Life Team livery. November 285AE for Air Evac. Go figure. Custom N numbers for the guys out there. I'm actually curious where that one's based out of. Got a couple of Air Evac bases near me. I'm curious if this is a Georgia one. I don't think I remember seeing it though, so Probably not. But I'm expecting today and tomorrow to be slightly... I'm going to come down some. Expecting today and tomorrow to be slightly less exciting than typical. My reasoning for assuming that is, we're going to swing by downtown real quick, is the Midwest is not that exciting of an area. I hate to say it. But, and that's the truth. I take it all set up here with all my things. No? It's in. It's out. Which I hate to say that this whole flight is going to be less than exciting, or this series, but it's important to remember that you know, flying around the world, we can't exactly go anywhere and everywhere with every stop and jump and whatever at our disposal. And we're going to be somewhat limited to what's accessible by helicopter as far as distances. So we're way north to get up to downtown. Okay, cool. I forget how far Johnson is south of the main city. But this is our Kansas City downtown airport right here. We're going to swing through here since we only saw the city in the dark last night. Luckily, I don't think we'll need to worry about this with Sioux Falls tomorrow. One, we'll be landing more or less right downtown with it. And two, well, Sioux City. And two, I don't think there's much there. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to suffer from middle of nowhere-itis. What's up, helicopter hose? Hey, appreciate y'all both being here. We are swinging by Kansas City, which is where we ended off last night. I wanted to see it in the daytime, since my boy Jacob's from here, Mr. Zorp, the other mod that's not Belen. Figured I'd see it in the daytime, and then we'll start following the river northbound to get out of here and head up to Sioux City. So that's the general plan. And I'm still going to checking my phone for different things, making sure that we're doing everything by my book here. Yeah, it looks like we're just going to follow the river that goes by the downtown airport here, so that should be good. Sick. The floodplain looks wild on Google Satellite View also. Okay, now we're looking outside. Sorry guys, you had to look down at the gauges for a bit as I glanced at my telephone. Here's that big ass pole up here that we saw last night that was kind of in hiding. You still can barely see it. Just like a victim of the resolution capabilities of the VR. And this is my only experience with VR. I don't think I've actually worn VR goggles for anything before in my life. So, it's kind of interesting to, or it would be kind of interesting to try on something else and see what it's like. And there's a stout telephone, a couple of stout cell phone towers here. I mean, technically here I am a medical helicopter. So it looks like there is actually a couple of things up in front of us. Maybe we do a quick touchdown with them and pretend we're picking up a patient. A little LARPing action, you know. Let's see what it shows on here. Yeah, there's a few. Ooh, children's. Okay, I'll do Trauma Medical Center West. I don't want to do the children's one. That's a bit depressing. I'm going to leave the lollipops on for this just because I'm not familiar with the area. If we were doing this in Atlanta or something, I'd be just freeballing it, but we are not in Atlanta, so I will not be doing that. But also, I can already tell you this is the absolute wrong approach to be flying an air evac. They apparently are enthusiasts of steep and slow approaches to pads. At least that's what I understand. Is there an established pad here, or would it be better to hit the secondary one over there? Let's pop off the lollipops. So it looks like one's a parking garage spot. We're going to take the rooftop one. Give ourselves a little pedal turn in here. And we'll go for this left one. Not the best approach, so we're going to come over here directly from the south to it. I don't mind doing this now. Earlier in the game, there was a very bad ground effect bug as you crossed over the edges of raised platforms, whether it was on hospitals or on the trucks that you refill your agricultural spraying with. But either way, they've fixed that, so now it's not terrifying trying to land on a raised platform. Not that it was terrifying as far as just being a raised platform. It was terrifying because about here you would get an extreme snap to the left or to the right depending on what your main rotor rotation was. Cool, so we're here. We are picking up the children that desperately need us. And let's get out of here. We're going to follow the river up. Actually, no, we're not picking up a child. Like I said, that's a dark tone. We're picking up somebody who took 3 Viagra 7 hours ago, and that's not something that's treatable here. So, we're going to take them up to Sioux City to get some of that native stank, and then we'll go from there. Okay, downtown KC, I see ya. That is the downtown airport right there, and we are going to follow the river here, more or less. Downtown KC, we're medical people. We got a dude with a killer boner, literally. So we're evacuating him up to Sioux City. So we're going to be overflying your airport. There's nothing you can do about it, and if you want to do something about it, we'd have him fuck you to death. Helicopter 42069. Oh, also, if you're in KC, just across the river over there in North Kansas City, there is a gun store owned by my homie Brian. So if you need a gun, go tell him that Multi-Shot Nat sent you, and he may or may not give you a discount. Say the gamer word, and he definitely may give you a discount. So, Sean, and that's even your real name, what's up? How are you and the lady today? Did you have a good Tuesday? Also, I'm not expecting to be on tomorrow night. I'm going to go see Warfare with some of the homies. So, I think we're seeing that at 7 because we gotta wait for some. Had a notification pop up for just the VR, not the game itself. There we go. Anyway, the game keeps playing, but the VR effectively shuts down during that. So that's, have to look under the thing, find my keyboard, and press pause. Well, I asked about Sean's life, but okay, Belen, we'll play. Please tell me why your life is imploding. Are you still recruiting for Company A, or is Company A unrecruiting you? Or is there other implosions happening that are not career related? Because if y'all are looking just to like feel like some remote role, what are your... How punished do you get for recruiting somebody that's not good at the job? And the question behind the question is, can I get hired for like 2 weeks and slide by, and then they realize that I'm no good at it? Decline to come and I'll work with it. Oh, okay, well, hope everything gets better. But, yeah, if I were to work for like 2 weeks at a very well-paying position, then they realize that I lied on my resume, how frowned upon is that? On your side, I don't care what it does to me, because I get 2 paychecks. And I'm not going to put it on my resume either way, and it's not going on LinkedIn. Jeez, you can send that to me? I will literally cut you off half of the pay if you can get me into one of those positions for like 2 or 3 weeks. If it doesn't affect you for like hiring somebody wrong, seriously, put me in like the $500,000 job position. And I can bullshit my way super hard. You coach me for like a week or so, I will bullshit my way so hard into that job position. And I will work my best to keep it and actually like work there and see how long it takes for people to realize Yes, I want to know something crazy. Yeah, I would 100% do that, because my professional career on LinkedIn means nothing. There's been cases where people lie in the... Why's my whole thing scrolling? That's weird. I'm going to do 2 little comments here real quick, just to move that up so I can read it on my phone. And there's been cases where people lie in the interview and have X person interview, but Z person gets hired, so bait and switch. Oh, that's interesting. See, I don't even want to do that. I just want to... I can interview well. That's not a problem for me. Sorry, I'm unplugging stuff. I can interview well, so that's not the problem for me. It's a matter of I can just bullshit my way hard enough with enough things that can go unchecked by references, because I don't know if people call references anymore. But like unchecked reference stuff. Oof, man. My way into some good positions there. What do y'all think? Is Gerald F... That's a tug. Okay, it's not a big boat. I was going to say that big boat yesterday scared the hell out of me. Yeah, that would be a pro gamer move. If there's a way to get me in there without you getting punished for hiring a bad person or messing up on recruiting somebody, and you could slide me into an SVP position, do it. I will take it, and I will write you half a check for whatever I get after taxes. Or I'll send you Cash App. Or paper money, untraceable. It's even better, right? But I am low-key looking at jobs now. It's like, okay, cool, what can I do? Aviation-ish. I had sent a resume to a, was it a broker? Airplane broker. Sells a lot of, so, yeah. That's way too far to drive for not enough money. Respectfully. Is that a little airport down there? I'm not zoomed in enough to see. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'll report to you. No shit. Put me in a position where I can fake it for long enough, and it's not like a, if you don't get in trouble for it, then I will 100% fake a resume or whatever I need to get interviewed and hired. And I'll even try to work. I'll even try to do the job. Who knows? Maybe I'm actually good at that. But, yeah, I'd be sick to do something like that. It'd be super hilarious to me. And who knows, maybe I even have a position that will end up funding my helicopter lessons and stuff while I'm not working film. That's one thing I was like talking to Sean too about when we were working together. It's like it's so hard to explain what the skills and talents and things that I'm capable of figuring out and solving and doing is, because most people just read film on a resume or armor or whatever, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool, so you literally just did this. Or like, okay, movie prop, so you had a lightsaber or something. And it's like, oh, no, I developed and made and modeled and did a whole bunch of things for a lot of different productions, and wired and finished and refinished and invented and fixed and restored and literally anything and everything. And then on top of that, it's a whole bunch of budget management and stuff like that, where I've had productions that give me $250 million a month, basically, to go through to do stuff. And I've had things that give me like $1,000 for a fucking month to buy and do things. So it's such a weird, vast array of skills that can apply in so many different ways, but people just don't know how to relate it to anything outside of that. Let's see. Blue collar is easy. They'll know the terms. Stay away from corporate. You find yourself saying KPIs and OKRs and wonder where it went wrong. Well, see, I don't plan on staying in that job. That's just nothing that, respectfully, I can't sit at a desk all day. AI was about as close to sitting at a desk all day as I would want to do. And that was mainly because I could work with my hands and overhaul and fix and do things like that. But I couldn't do desk for good. If I needed to pay the bills, or I had family, or I had to save the house or whatever, then yeah, I could hunker down and do that if it meant that I was going to make enough money, but I would still be consistently searching for something else where I was working with my hands or doing something challenging. Yeah, a lot of places it's hard to find something that would take advantage of all of my skills that's been applicable in film. Which, that's cool. You know, film's a very stressful thing to do. Ridiculous deadlines and literally anything and everything needs to be invented and figured out on the day, and then it's never used with no thanks, and it's wild. It's a whole different world. But I am looking at some jobs that are like for this helicopter here, for example. A little old medical helicopter. I am looking at stuff that's like a, what's it called? How is this airport existing here? This just looks like it's fucking, I guarantee you this place is flooded. Like, once every 2 years. But, oh yeah, I'm looking at this place right now that I'm thinking about sending a resume into tomorrow or something, where it's a sales position, where it's like a health insurance supplement sales, but like the big thing that they offer is like ambulance, helicopter, and airplane ambulance services, and like coverage where if your medical insurance doesn't cover it, then they'll cover it. And it's like, it's not cold calls, it's nothing like that. It's like people submit their interest to it, and then you go and do presentations and answer questions and close sales into it. And it's like 70 to 100 a year plus commission and stuff like that. It's like, cool, you know, I could do that. Or like selling roofs. Apparently selling roofs is a pretty simple, straightforward sales job, because people that are calling to have a roof quote, they need roofs. It's not like they're trying to sell something to somebody that doesn't need it. Like they're actively looking for a roof. So it's like, if you're a personal enough guy and you can either play the sales game to them or skip the bullshit enough, then, you know, you have a $100,000 a year job. And it's not that I want to keep doing that. I think it would be something neat where I can do it for X amount of months. Whenever the show comes back, say, hey, or talk to these people beforehand, say, hey, by the way, I'm in the film industry. I do the gun stuff and I do stunts, which means I work 1 to 2 days a week. Sometimes more, sometimes less, in the film industry. And I would like to continue doing that, as it's a fun thing to do and it's something that I want to do. But on those off days, I can go and do your sales job for roofs or sales job for this medical company that does with helicopters and airplanes and stuff. So it's like, maybe, you know, maybe something like that. And the people will recognize that there is some sort of sales talent or something there. 8 people in here, wow, good for us. But yeah, maybe they'll see that or hear that and say like, okay, cool, well, his numbers are good, let's let him go do his little stunt thing. Let's let him go do his little gun thing here and there. That's kind of what I want to do with AI. It's like, hey, if I were to do the day play stuff where I go 1 or 2 days a week unpaid, I still can keep up at work down there doing overhauls and stuff. Like, let me go do it, you know? It just makes me much more likely to stay there because I can be a valuable asset. But that didn't happen. yeah, it's something I'm looking at because I don't want to say I get bored sitting here, but I get bored. I need stuff to do. And income's nice to have because at the end of the day, I do want to fly. And that's not cheap. Get sponsored by the Megan Bag Insurance Company. Like literally just stream flying around helicopters they sponsor. By the way, guys, have you heard of National Ambulance Services Incorporated or whatever it's called? You guys should really look into this. But yeah, for the 8 people who are in here now, surprisingly, welcome. We are flying from Kansas City, which is way back that way, maybe 25 miles. We are headed north to Sioux City. Should be following this purple line here, but we're just going to kind of follow the river since the river takes us there anyways. And maybe we're going to stop by Brownsville, which is probably the most boring place in the world, thanks to Sean for the suggestion. It's also probably one of the few things that's a thing on this flight. Tomorrow, maybe even less. Until the end, we may hit Mount Rushmore tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but the next flight at the end of the flight. I don't think I'm streaming tomorrow. Unless I go early in the day, but that's neither here nor there because I don't know how long it will take, so I don't want to have to land early at some little rinky-dink airport. I kind of have waypoints set up for all this, but either way, it'd be nice, you know? It'd be nice to, I don't want to say remote, but something like that. It'd be even nicer to have something that was, like, deeper in my interest range, you know? Where it was something aviation-related. Because I had submitted to the airplane brokers, where they sell Pipers and Cessnas and Beechcrafts and Moonies and smaller planes. They're like, right now we're hoping to get somebody who has a pilot's license, but keep us in mind, we like you, we think you're cool, but let us know. So it's like, okay, cool, you know, whatever, makes sense. Have somebody go out there, check the logbooks, go up with the plane, feel it, make sure it feels right, and there's nothing screamingly or blaringly wrong with it. But also, it's like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that immediately upon licensing, because I am going straight to rotorcraft. Unless something changes to where I have a job offer to do something fixed wing immediately upon getting fixed wing without going all the way to commercial, like with them, where it's like, cool, you don't need commercial to, then it's like, cool, if you fly as part of the job but not directly as the job, then it's okay. It's like you can have a private license, and let's say you're in real estate or whatever, and you fly down to an airport close to one of your houses or whatever, it's like, cool, you technically flew down there for business, but it's no different than taking your own car and mileage reimbursement and vehicle rental reimbursement or whatever to yourself. So it's it's acceptable in some ways and forms, you know. Also, Belen, I'm sorry, but I have not looked into where the cats are yet. I do plan on looking into that, though, but I'm pretty sure none of them are United States based as far as where you'll find them in the game. But we will find a cat somewhere during this, and I will make sure to let you guys know a couple of days in advance before we get to the place where the cats are in the game. So you'll be covered. Don't worry. But we'll keep out an eye out for horses or something today. They feel like we can get horses or cows or something today. Maybe buffalo. We'll see. Also, for anybody that just got in here today, we're in the Bell 206L3 by Cowan Sim. Excuse me. Flying it as fast as it wants to go. Kind of VFRing the flight path here, and I'm not flying with a HOTAS or with a controller. I have the Apache Simulator R44 set up, so my cyclic is a T-bar shape like a traditional, so the bottom line's here, it goes up and comes over and down to a center stack, just like a Robinson. Where are the birds? Or are they fake? No, there's no birds that you can fly in the game, sorry. There are downloads that you can do where it's called, I think it's called Traffic in Sight. It's like an add-on that you can do. I'm down lower now because I'm looking for horses and shit. I think it's called Traffic in Sight, and it's basically a plug-in where other helicopters and airplanes and gliders and drones and stuff will be in the air. And I had it in the southeast because that's where we live and that's where I do most of my flying at. But to me it like felt like it was oversaturated. Like flying in the straight line here, I would have had almost 4 or 5 near misses already since we left the airport. So it was like an extremely oversaturated airspace. And it's like there were drones every few miles, and it's like, yeah, they're out there, but it's not that bad. And the drones are sure as shit not up at 1,500 feet. They can go that high, but people typically don't fly them that high. Especially every 5 miles. Looking for the animals, though. We'll find them eventually. I also would like to look and see if there is a night vision mod. Because some of the helicopters have night vision modes for their gauges and instruments. I think that'd be super cool to look into doing a night thing. But I don't know how well that will... Oh, there's animals down here. Don't know what they are, but there's animals down here. Oh, they're already running from me. And the cool thing is you can herd the animals, like they're herdable, which is wild. Especially getting something like a little R22 or something like that that can really maneuver down low close to the ground and not have a whole bunch of like weight transferring around or whatever. Where are you? The cow? What are you? I think that's supposed to be a cow. Anyways, we'll continue on the path here. But there are animals, so that's cool, I guess. And we can add some more torque in here. 206L's got a little bit of power. Or I say a little bit like a mid-level of power. Like people do bucket operations with them and stuff, just not often. Lucky, ooh, where are you flying? A320. Cool, let's see, do we follow our line here? Let's see, zoom out. No, we're gonna jump this. I'm not gonna follow the river all the way out there because we're just gonna intersect again up here. But yeah, I've done some herding in the game before. Super fun. Super good to kind of learn, like, closer to the ground, hovering and handling, and, like, really working on not putting yourself into like a mass bumping scenario by pushing forward and doing a low G and everything. It's a good practice. Okay, what heading am I getting here? It's temperature outside. It's like 50 degrees out there. Ew. Okay, so our heading is 33, 34 degrees. Sick. A bit more power in. Level off. I'm pretty happy with that. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. We are cruising. He's at 44,000 feet. Goodness, guy. What are you doing? I don't know if y'all can see that, but he's an A320 at 44,200 feet. Is that within their cruising limits? What's the highest I've been? I feel like I've been 41 before in something. 44 is wild, though. Good for them. Also, I was planning on stopping at Omaha, Nebraska for today's leg, but it was like 2/3 of the distance of yesterday's leg, and yesterday's leg felt kind of short, but then going all the way up to Sioux City, it's like a quarter longer than yesterday's distance. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I feel like that's going to be a good round off to what we should be shooting for. Although I do feel like maybe on Fridays or Saturdays, for now that we're established, I may do a longer version. Wait, Mr. Fan, let's see, A320s can't fly at 44K, I don't think. I'm pretty sure the max is around 41. Yeah, that's what I was saying. He's at 43 and descending now. Of course, if I start talking about Airbus, you're going to pop in the chat. But yeah, I think you should post more stuff on your channel. I subscribed to you yesterday. I don't know if you saw that. I subscribed after we finished streaming. I think I did with multi-shot Matt, or I may have done it with my alt account, the Canyon Runner 39.7. Yeah, so he's cheating the system somehow, Mr. Lucky Duty, or lucky you're alive up there. Anyways, yeah, I followed you last night on, or subscribed on one of my accounts. Yeah, you should post more. It's, I think I've said it before, but to me it's one of those things where you can always make the excuse of, oh man, I don't have the right equipment to do this. I don't have the right equipment to do that. And if that's the case, then you'll never end up posting anything or doing anything. But I think at the end of the day, just get out there and do it. Because I would much rather see the cell phone video of, let's just say like the British Vulcan bomber landing. I would much rather see that cell phone video of it happening than no video of it at all. And that goes for anything. If the video doesn't exist, then nobody's going to view it. But there's always the chance where if something wild does happen, you get a crazy crosswind with a wingtip touch or something like that, or a wind shear and a heavy smackdown. It's like, cool, maybe you weren't filming on the Sony a7 IV with the 50 to 400 telephoto lens on it with the Rode Video Mic Pro XL. Like, sure, maybe it wasn't perfect, but guess what? You got it. And cell phone quality is pretty damn good nowadays. So I'd much rather see it in some form or video than anything, you know, and it also kind of gets rid of that excuse. I'm going to KATL in a few weeks and we're doing some filming. Hell yeah. Have y'all got a spot figured out? Because I know there are like some areas around, but I've never like taken too much time to like find actual good spots there. If you're going all the way up there, like specifically for the trip, also look at going to PDK, Peachtree DeKalb, on the west side of the airport, kind of near where all the hangars and stuff are. They even have like bleachers set up, so you can just go out there and watch. And I've seen people with tripods and stuff set up top. You're kind of midway on the runway, so you're not getting any like straight on shots of people coming in or straight on shots of people leaving, or rear shots or front shots, but you have a pretty good solid approach path and everything at PDK, watching it from either direction. But there's not really many places that have good viewing spots or watching areas. But at PDK, they actually put it there, which I think is very cool of them to do that. There's even a little park where kids can play and stuff. It's a little tricky to film it there, but I found some fantastic locations for belly shots. Oh, yeah. Yeah, belly shots aplenty for sure. The union that I'm a part of, hopefully not for too much longer if I can get out. They're right under, I think it's 27. No, it wouldn't be 27. It'd be like runway 8. Anyway, when you're leaving and departing to the east, so like runway, what are the runways in Atlanta? Atlanta's 27, and then whatever the opposite is that, minus 18. Runway 9. But they were like right under that, so like anytime we would be leaving or going into a meeting, there'd always be really, really cool shots there. And I think there's a website too that has a whole bunch of good spotting locations. I don't know how many F-22s come out of Dobbins. A lot of C-130s. Best place for F-22s that I know of would be down in Panama City. Whatever that runway is that's down on the beach. Tyndall, I think. Tyndall Air Force Base. You got me on maps now while I'm flying a fucking helicopter. Yeah, Tyndall Air Force Base. Saw a lot of 22s when I was there. 27 left for bellies, yeah. Yeah, my Union Hall was just under 9 right. So when they're taking off from 9 right, heading to the east, you get a lot of good unders from there. Yeah, PDK, a lot of executives coming in and out of PDK. Good bit of helicopter stuff too. You have Metro Aviation up there. A base for helicopter tours and stuff too, and every once in a while you get an S-76. Also, by the way, Daisy Bell, let's go check out this bad boy. By the way, one of Donald Trump's former helicopters lives here in Atlanta. He had 2 Sikorsky S-76 Charlies. One of them I think he's still in ownership of, or Donald Trump Incorporated, or his company or family still in ownership of one of them. But he had like a salt and pepper one that was like all blue with the red stripes in the middle and white bottom, and that was white up top, red stripes and blue on the bottom. But the one that was the light color, the salt one, it's been flying around Atlanta here recently. It's not November 76 DT. I think it's November 120 Delta Tango for Donnie Trump. Old Donnie T. Daisy Bell. I wonder what the ship looks like in real life. Because here they have it as like ship with a crane on it. Like a crabbing boat almost is what it looks like. Isn't runway 9's on the south side of the airport where they have 8 left, 8 right on the north side, and then 9 left and 9 right? Oh no, you have it there. It's just underneath the heart symbol in the chat on my phone. Also, there's a hotel that's just next to the Porsche Experience Center, which you can eat at the restaurant at the Porsche Experience place, and it's a good view of the runways and stuff to watch. And there's also the hotel that's kind of right next to it that's the same unique shape or whatever. There's a bar restaurant, like the top level of that hotel. I may have given some back shots from a hotel room there and watched airplanes take off before. Allegedly. Yeah, I would say definitely if you're making the trip up here, put aside a little time. It's another 30 minutes on your trip to head up to PDK, and you can hit that viewing spot there. Like I said, it's a lot of executive jets, a couple of different helicopter places. I think you have a HeliNet thing, which usually does like the news choppers you have, but a lot of them are over at Charlie Brown or Fulton County, the west side of Atlanta. You have Metro Aviation, which runs a lot of like BK-117, H-145, children's healthcare helicopters, and I think they have one for another group as well. But they usually do like prenatal or neonatal and children's healthcare stuff in the twin engine ones, just because it's a more important thing apparently. Well, that's cool. They have the levees and everything modeled. That's neat. Also, I said a lot of executive jets in and out of PDK, helicopter tours. There's a couple of flight schools and stuff up there as well, so you get a lot of small traffic. Of course, you're not getting any of the they didn't have a reservation. Oh. But yeah, of course, if you're going to go spot and look primarily at airliner type stuff, then yeah, Hartsville's definitely the place to go. Yeah, you can't. Busiest airport in the world, you know. If you want to see big planes that cross the country and cross the world, then that's the place to go. Do you plan on like taking the pictures and getting them submitted to like jet photos and stuff, so it pops up whenever I click on a plane on flight radar, or are you just kind of doing it? Headed to bed. See you, Sean. And Belen, I guess. Good night to her too. But do you plan on doing any of the submission of photos, or is it just purely going to be for the Instagram or the YouTube or forums? Because I would like to start taking pictures of helicopters and submitting those to Jet Photo or whatever one of those websites is called, where you can where it links to Flight Radar, so when people click on something on Flight Radar, they'd see a photo that you took of it. But for that, I would definitely want to be closer and on the tarmac if possible, or somewhere where I can have a better view. Getting on tarmac's not hard to do. I'd make a phone call and I can be on the ramp at PDK easily. My homie Brady's there. But doing something like getting on the ramp at Atlanta is not going to happen, so you're kind of limited to where you can get to take a good photo. Yeah, stick to YouTube, better than nothing, you know. Like I said, it's a game of when you start doing it, you just do it, and then eventually you'll either catch that magic, or eventually you'll start getting people to watch out of consistency. It's like me. I've got 700 something subs here on YouTube, 90% of those, I think, came from the how to build a shop, or the metal buildings aren't cheap. Whatever the video that I did was about the building that we built here at the house. Majority of my subs came from that. Like when I look at the breakdown, like every 28 days, let's just say I get 1 subscriber a day. 28 of those is from a month is from that one video. Then the other 2, it's something like a Microsoft Flight Sim video, or like one of mine working on the Honda motorcycle videos or something like that. Just bring the ladder, yeah. Hey, you carry a ladder with you, and you have your little vest and a hard hat, and you can get away with a lot of stuff. People just don't question, like, oh, he looks official. Just have put a lanyard too with your name, and it just says like official person or official, something fucking stupid like that. Then believe it. And just walk through the airport, walk through one of the exit doors or whatever. Excuse me. TSA's not going to stop you. They're useless. I wonder if you could do the ladder trick to get through TSA. That would be funny. Because you can do the ladder trick a lot of places. I've seen people like didn't somebody do the ladder trick to get into like the Emmys or the Grammys or something like that? I want to say somebody did the ladder trick to get into the Emmys or the Grammys. I need some sugar water. Where's my Gatorade at? Okay, let's fly with my knee for a second. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, cool. We're good. Sugar water. Let's go. There's 5 people in here. Who are the other 3? Sean's in bed now. That's Belin's still watching. Hey, Belin. But I doubt that. Okay, sugar water has been obtained. We're good to go. Let's kind of get back at altitude and back on path here. What is this up ahead? Like a little unpaved runway. Let's go check this out real quick. Since we have a couple of people in here watching, we'll do an impromptu how to fly a helicopter lesson. Just to see over the fence. I feel like I've seen that for Atlanta stuff. Okay, where is this little unimproved runway that we're going to up here? Looks like this field up here. Actually, I think it's going to be much further up here. Pour some speed back on. Do some low-level flying. I know these people will love it. But I feel like I was reading some of the Atlanta plane spotting stuff. Oh, there's animals down there. Don't know what. I feel like I was reading something about KATL plane spotting. And I don't quite remember what they were saying, but I feel like the latter was something. Yes, this will 100% get you a helicopter license. I'll straight up give you a helicopter license for attending this lesson. If anybody else will accept it, I don't know. But I will give you a helicopter license. It will mean something to me. A little to the right over here. Let's see what pops up on our lollipops. Over here. Lonesome Sky. Okay, so let's give ourselves a helicopter lesson. You have 3 main controls. You have your, what airplane people call rudder pedals, which is your feet. In the helicopter, they are known as anti-torque pedals, because the main rotor of your helicopter spins one way, which torques your helicopter to twist the other way. So they work in an anti-torque capacity. Once you get moving forward, you kind of don't use them just like an airplane, but you do trim out slightly with them left or right. So those are your anti-torque pedals. Here in between your legs you have your cyclic, or the stick, but cyclic is the correct term for it. Why are there so many little trees here? Cyclic is the correct term for it. What the cyclic does is it increases the pitch of your blades in very specific places. So when I push forward on my cyclic, it will increase the pitch on the back side of the blades, or really over this rotor system spins this way. So it'll increase the pitch 90 degrees off, because there's a thing called gyroscopic precession, which will make that effect halfway or a quarter of the 90 degrees later, whatever. But anyways, this affects the angle of your blade's pitch 90 degrees offset from whichever way you do, and it depends on whatever angle or whatever the rotation of the blade is. And this down here is called the collective, because that collectively changes all of the pitch of all blades, whether it's a 2-blade helicopter like this, or whether it's a 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. So basically, with this particular helicopter, I'm going to even up my pedals here. When you were to take off, and I'm going to not touch my pedals at all, you'll see that it twists the whole helicopter to the right like that, which means I need to put in left pedal when taking off. And that's just because of the rotation of this. And something like the Airbuses, you have to put in right pedal, or like the Cabri or the MDs or whatever. Like I said, it all depends on the actual aircraft itself and what its rotation is. And also, you really shouldn't take off that quick. That was probably an over torque, but I'd have to really yank on it to get the demonstration for the sim to go. So we'll put a little bit of left pedal in, also known as the power pedal. And this is the other rotation, we put in the right pedal. But so as we pick up with the collective here with the left hand, you see we're starting to rotate left. So that means I have too much there. And that seems to be picking off just a little left, so I'll even it up a little bit more. And then as we slowly pick up the ground, I'm trying to keep ourselves forward, backward, left, right in the same spot. And that's our hovering there. And now, of course, if I want to go up a little bit higher, I have to put in a little bit more pedal. If I want to go lower, I have to put in a little bit less pedal. I'm catching myself from a drop, I have to put in more pedal. It all depends on how much torque you actually run through the engine itself. And then on top of all of that, when you're putting the extra collective or extra cyclic one way or the other, it changes everything else. So you move the pedals, you move the left and the right hand. If you move the right hand, you move the pedals in the left hand. You move the left hand, you move your right hand and the pedals. Everything's all connected, and it takes a lot to get into. Usually your instructor will let you just wiggle the center stick or the left stick or the pedals one at a time, then 2 at a time or whatever, and get you to a point to where you can hover successfully for yourself. I've got a slightly different approach because I had to teach myself here in the sim to hover. Once you start moving forward, your vertical stabilizer in the rear will actually keep your helicopter kind of pointing in the right direction. If I go back here, we have that big vertical stabilizer in the back. So, once we're moving at a decent speed of 40 or 50 miles an hour, if I put my pedals straight and I come in here for like a landing or whatever, or a slow down, let's get off this. Let's go on a road where we're not worried about little trees maybe going to kill us. So let's say, let's go the direction we're going to be going anyways. We'll go up this road here. So we get going at whatever our cruising practice speed is. And then to slow down, this is part of it, you have to lower the collective a little bit and then pull back on the cyclic some, and that's your stopping maneuver. And then you'll get slower and slower, and then you'll get to a point to where when you're getting towards a hover itself, the helicopter is slowly starting to turn more and more right as you're adding some collective to keep in the hover. And as you can see now, we're just slowly rotating right is because of having a neutral location with our anti-torque pedals. So, by just picking up, you can do this in the sim. In the real world, I wouldn't suggest just picking up off the ground and immediately flying. But if you're having trouble, get off the ground and start flying, because once you're in forward flight, it's easy. When you start doing your slowing down, your vertical stabilizer in the rear is going to help you out a whole bunch. And then when you start getting to this point where you're getting near hover, your helicopter just slowly requires a little bit of pedal. And then you can correct and do that as you go. And that was the way that I kind of taught myself how to learn how to hover. It was more of a get your speed and get off the ground, because for me, knowing that it basically flies the same as an airplane once you're moving, for all intents and purposes, it was much easier for me to start on the runway or the ramp and say, like, okay, cool, I know if I pick up off the ground and push forward, then I'll start going forward. Pedals be damned. And look, I'll even put extra right pedal in right now, so we'll twist right pretty hard. I knew that I could get off the ground and then figure it out. Of course, that was a very bad example. That was a lot more right pedal than what I expected. But I knew even if I wasn't the best at taking off, that it was a lot easier to pick up and start going forward immediately and get that airspeed, because I knew the vertical would keep me pointed in the right direction, hovering at 0 airspeed. Anyways, it's flying helicopters is not an easy thing. That's part of the reason why I'm attracted to wanting to do it. So there's that. And then everything is directly related to the other things. You know, that's kind of the hardest part. It's like the rubbing your head and patting your belly at the same time. It's that whole everything has to work together. It's easy for me to say right now because I've never piloted the real thing, but I feel like I've gotten a pretty good handle on what the relationship between the hands and feet are supposed to be. So hopefully once the flight lessons start here soon, it'll be easy for me to just hop in and just adjust doing it in the real thing. Just like, cool, you know, you can learn how to drive a manual transmission on a simulator or a game or something, but doing it in a real car is probably different because the clutches all feel different, the shifters all feel different, you know, and it's just a matter of adjusting to whatever that particular mechanism is that you're going to be driving or piloting. Let's follow the line. Or we'll get some altitude and split the difference here. We'll stay left of the line, right of the river. Yeah, you got the basics. Just go straight, head to the airport, dude. They'll probably just hand you the keys to a helicopter. I don't see why they wouldn't. But yeah, and the big thing is, like, all the movements too are so minute. Like, if you were watching me from the outside fly, or anybody trying to fly a helicopter, the movements that you make are just so minute. I mean, it's like, let's find another flattish spot to be. We'll go down to this intersection here. Very fast approach. Lowering the collective, pulling back. Slowly adding some collective, leveling off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to land here at this intersection pointing up this road. I'm going to get into a hover, and I'm basically just going to think about moving forward. I'm not even going to like actively push the cyclic forward. If I do, I mean it'll be millimeters forward, or fractions of a millimeter. So we're on the ground here. R22 parked in Columbus right now. I'm pretty sure I can up in... On my tier 1, yeah, that's up at the airport that we started at, Hampton, Georgia. That's the place that I'm most likely going to be doing mine at. His prices at a glance seem slightly higher than other people, but he's closer. But I'm going to go up there and talk to him in person because I don't know if he's including instructor pricing or instructor costs in his hourly cost for the helicopter. So let's see. Let's pick up here into a quick hover. So here we're in a hover. We're just off the ground, and now I'm just going to barely push forward. I mean, I've moved it fraction of an inch. All I'm doing is correcting. And I can pretty much get up to speed and everything just with that little bit of a push forward. And here we go. I'm now in the safe area of the height velocity diagram. And that's with barely moving my my cyclic there. And I can also do the same thing with my collective, where I can do a lot more cyclic movement. When I say a lot more, I mean an inch or two, not much at all. But I can more or less do it with whatever just hovering amounts of collective is also. Okay, so we're going to have to actually clear this hill up here. So let's see. Picking up. Just in hovering amounts of collective. Now you can't see it, but I've taken my left hand off of the collective itself. So we're just working with hovering amounts of power being used. And you can see our torque. We're only using 50% of available torque. And right now we're up to 40, which means we can safely start picking up. So like you can do basically everything you need to do with a helicopter with extremely small inputs, given that you're not extremely overloaded or doing any sort of like load operations. But that's also the way you need to think about flying anyways, just because it's safer for the machine and it's safer on all the components. I mean, takeoff smooth, inputs minute. You're not trying to pull a million freaking pounds of torque. It's a lot better to practice taking off with just the smallest amounts of available torque that you can use rather than immediately pulling 100. You know, it's a much better way to train as a pilot to do that. Because if you're always trying to take off with the 100, then you're not going to learn anything about being restricted and how much power and how much energy you can use with it. Going straight up and out, then when I need to actually use power, I'm not going to be able to manage it correctly because I'm used to mismanaging my available energy. So yeah, little inputs. Little inputs is all you need. We're doing great on fuel right now, but the fact that we've only used a third of our fuel capacity. Oh, that's a big gap there. Okay, cool. We're almost halfway. Decently long flight tonight, which I'm cool with. You think we can hit these clouds up here? phone's loading a whole bunch. Pop back in. Okay, cool. My headset adjusted. Yeah. Wonder what the tier 1's doing down there. Because I rode by the airport the other day. If you follow my personal Instagram, you can see that the other day I took my dog to the airport because my dog actually likes helicopters. And they had a Cobra out, but I was expecting to see tier 1 out there working and doing lessons or whatever, but they weren't out there doing anything, so we had to wait for the Huey and Cobra. But the Huey was getting put up, so luckily we got the Cobra coming in for the Army Aviation Heritage Foundation or whatever it is. So Dino got to see a Cobra. He was very hyped with that. At first I just put it on the story on my Instagram, but it's a reel now. Yeah, we need to lock in. We're wasting time here. We're never going to get to freaking Sioux City. Can't complain too much. I'm the idiot. It's like, let's fly around the world in a helicopter. Ooh, you see what I see up here? Just looks like little pixels right now, but it looks like a sea of pixels. I think we're getting into a wind farm. We're basically going. We're doing the speed and climbing with some power left. So I want to add some more power. I want to keep this speed but keep on climbing, if not go faster. If I can touch those clouds today, that'd be damn cool. Because there is nothing else to do in this part of the city, this part of the state. Yeah, it's definitely a wind farm. The Bird Killer 7000s. Like I could go LARP as a wind farm maintenance person, pilot, whatever. But I don't want to be sitting here all night tonight. What do you mean not much of a city here? Big city. See, there's 2 houses there in 1 square mile. It's a population center. But if anybody lived in City 47A, Nebraska, they'd be pretty offended right now by you. I'm curious how much kickback. There's a lot of these things. I can see the little pixels. Like out there now, like. Goodness. I wonder how much energy these things actually produce. Like, is it actually worth it? Population 5, that's in the house. Population's 10 in the city. Oh, nope, there's an actual city. Little town. I bet they have at least a tractor supply there. Or a rural king, or whatever it's called. Look at all these damn things. It's like I appreciate clean energy, but also isn't there like no way to recycle these fucking things? Like once they're done, they're done. Because I think the blades are a composite. I don't think they're metal blades. I think they're a composite blade. And then you can't recycle whatever this composite is, whether it's like a carbon Kevlar or something like that. And then they catch fire, and the resin that's made to use them is an ultra toxic thing. It kills a shit ton of birds. And the amount of energy that it makes is just not as much as people would want them to be if they were actually being successfully used in whatever case. Dude, it feels like we're just floating. We're doing 122 knots. One hour, 13 minutes away. 10, somewhere in there. We'll see. It'd be nice if I could land before midnight my time. Yeah, I don't know how they work either, dude. Apparently the sound that they make in the ocean is like a deep humming sound or something like that. And whales will literally beach themselves in areas near these things just because it like murders their whale ears to where they don't want to listen to it. It kills birds on land. It's like, I get it, clean energy is a good thing, but why not just do nuclear? Everybody freaks out because of stuff like, oh my god, Fukushima or Chernobyl or 3 Mile Island or whatever, but it's like, we don't have any new nuclear reactors. Like, all of our nuclear reactors and stuff is technology from like the 1960s. It's like hopping into like a 1960 Chevrolet Impala and being like, cool, this is my hyper mileage vehicle. It's got a 400 small block in it with a Power Glide 2-speed transmission, and acting like it's the peak of technology when like Teslas exist or Priuses exist or like all these other super efficient vehicles. So it's like, why do we still have nuclear plants that are running technology and stuff built and designed in the 1960s or earlier, and then acting weird or bad about it, like, oh my god, it's the most dangerous thing? Like, yeah, guess what, old cars aren't that safe. So guess what, old nuclear reactors probably aren't that safe either. Like, put a little bit of money into development of the newer stuff and you can have very, very safe setups. The biggest thing that I see is waste. And apparently they even have different elements now that they'll attempt to do nuclear stuff with. Solar farms. The big thing about solar stuff is there's no recycling of them, and they are dead within like 10 to 15 years or something like that. And they're highly toxic as far as the materials or whatever used in them. The mirror light reflecting farms that boils water, whatever, like those just fry birds when they fly over. Like, really, nuclear is the best way. I think solar has a place, and that place is to be used as a backup energy supply in case of a long-term shutdown or camping or something along those lines. RVs, potentially off-grid living, but of course, like, not everybody in the country and the world is going to go off-grid. So you have to look at bigger and larger forms of energy, like these ridiculous farms of wind turbines. But I think nuclear is the way. I think we could have a lot more nuclear plants around that are on the extreme small scale. And they're going to be much more efficient. Well, I got the speed. Let's stop trying to lose altitude. You know you can fly higher than 4,000 feet. We want to tickle these clouds. I want to bust VFR. Oh yeah, I've seen a handful South Georgia. I went to Columbus a few months back. Actually, Sean, I went down there to meet him. He's got some family property down in Columbus adjacent areas. And I went down there. There is a good bit of solar farming stuff down there. Or as I was driving, there's a few bigger areas on 75 South now, going down towards Valdosta, Macon, those areas. It's getting prevalent, which I'm not saying I'm mad at it. I just don't know if it's economically better than coal, or not economically, but from like a pollution level or whatever level you want to do your evaluation of. I don't know how much better it is than traditional methods. I'm not saying coal is our best bet, but everything has pluses and everything has minuses. You know, there's a pro everywhere and there's a con everywhere. Just like hydroelectric is really, really good. Con, it's a huge project to get into it. You end up destroying a lot of land to make it if you build a lake in a place that doesn't have a lake, so you're technically throwing away a whole bunch of people's property. Of course, you're buying it from them. You're not just flooding it and be like, oh, because you have lake property now. Like, of course, it's going along the right way. Then you mess up a shit ton of ecosystems while you're doing that. So, that can go either way. But if you have water that's at a very, very high place, and it's going down pretty quickly to a very, very low place, or it's made a giant valley or like little canyon or something like that, and then it's like, okay, cool. And if you can do a dam or something, or there's been a dam there before in the past and the ground's kind of already been made into it, like, why not make it hydroelectric? Why not use that to your advantage, you know? Coal can be done in a pretty clean way. It's not all crap. Like it's looked at, there's different types of coal. I'm not an expert, but I do know there's different types of coal that are used in different ways. Everything's got downsides. Like there's one person that invented a thing where it's, I want to say it uses like the waves in the ocean and the buoys or whatever. Whenever they move with the waves, that's what ends up producing the power. But I feel like maybe those would end up doing the same thing as the wind farms in the ocean, where they're creating some sort of frequency that's not welcome to the marine life out there. Because it's a thing. You look around these damn these wind farms out in the ocean, there's whales legitimately just committing stop living on themselves because of the sounds or because of whatever that effect is from these things, which is wild to think about. I mean, I guess if somebody turns on a speaker that's just like a, whatever the bottom level of human hearing is, and they just turn it on next to your house and you're not allowed to go anywhere else. It's like, or if you do go somewhere else, guess what? You can drive for a day or walk for a day and you still hear that stupid sound everywhere. Maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe after you live through that and that's your home area, it's like, shit, man, it's gone to hell and you can't go anywhere else just because you're a whale and you can't live in whatever other climates, or who knows. I don't want to say, ooh, sucks to be them, but like, man, wish we could figure out something else, you know? Or figure out what has the least impact, but I think the biggest thing with nuclear is just the waste. We might make it above the clouds, and then we can start focusing a bit more on speed. I don't want to bust VFR in these conditions. The thing is, like, you get up this high, and it feels like we're not moving, because I'm not, like, actively seeing the ground move by super, super fast. Like, watching the corner of that street right there, it's like, oh man, we are crawling by. But it's all just perspective at the end of the day, you know. We're still doing 110 miles an hour over the ground. I've got my stick all the way forward right now. But I've kind of got a climbing angle and attitude set up in the ship here, so we are cloud chasing. I feel like there's a way, but I mean, they may be quiet in a lot of conditions, but maybe once it hits a certain wind speed, it's just SOL. Like, sorry, that's the killer tone once it hits that wind speed or whatever, and that's nothing you can control. Unless you change, like, rotational speeds, or maybe it's the gear systems, because I don't think it's a direct one-to-one drive. It's probably geared down to where it spins, where the main blades are spinning 20 RPM, but it gears itself, since it has so much weight and energy behind it, to spin something at, you know, 20,000 RPM on the inside. Boys, I think we're cloud level. 9,300 feet. Are we about to break the law here? Hell yeah. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Instrument pilot, what do you know? We're doing it. Boy, that was fun. That was definitely worth the slow crawl up here. Neat view, though. Good for the airplane, fellas, you know. The good thing is, if I have an engine failure up here, I have plenty of time to figure out where I'm going to land. Looks like here. I can also see the river really, really nice from here. I'm going to focus more on speed now that I kind of have the altitude that I want. My IFR altitude. Maybe still gain a little bit. I want to try to get over 100 knots again. Just slowly lowering the collective to get my climb rate to slow down just enough where I'm starting to gain speed, but still climb. 102 knots, 103. Ground speed 101, so just a little tailwind up here, not bad. Oh man, now it's just hazy. No clouds to fly through. We had a weather update. Lame. New turnaways that aren't allowed. That's good, I mean, I would assume somebody's working on it regardless. You know, I don't think they're gonna just, it's like, oh cool, we made a wind turbine that works. We're just going to forget about development. Growth is always going to be a thing, in my opinion. So glad to see they're working on that. How much time until Omaha? 57 minutes. We are inside an hour. Or Omaha, we're probably pretty fucking close. Oh yeah, Omaha is like right up here. Because I believe KOMA is Omaha. So that would be it off the left over here. And you can check me at KOMA, but KOMA, I believe that's Omaha, Nebraska. So maybe 5-10 minutes till Omaha. But still another 50 minutes until we get to until we get up to Sioux City. Sioux. Wonder what's the correct pronunciation of it, or if I'm appropriating culture if I were to say it the right way. Yeah, KOMA just seems like it would be Omaha, right? Like I feel like if somebody else was KOMA, Omaha would have been like, hey. Those are our initials, bud. You are not more Omaha than we are, and even if you are Omaha, Oklahoma, or whatever, like some small town with the same name, it's like Omaha, Nebraska is obviously the big city, the big airport that deserves a name, not some small metropolitan. I'll start aiming that way, even lower collective a little bit, and we'll get back down to a normal helicopter elevation. But a descent from here is just painful, because I want to keep the descent at like 500 to 1,000 feet per minute. I don't want it to be too steep and get too fast and fight the overspeed. So it's got to be just right, you know. Yep, so we're right here at Omaha then. And this was going to be my stop for today. But I know for the next stream, which won't be tomorrow, probably the next day or the day after, I would have to go north and then turn left to go west. Which really I can fly a straight line in an airplane. I don't have to follow road rules or anything. Or I'm in a helicopter, I don't have to follow road rules. But I'd rather just make today's journey straight and then have to worry about the next journey heading in one direction without needing to do whatever, because it's going to be a boring flight if I had to just fly over land next time. It's funny, I set my descent here like 500 feet per minute with my collective, and then I gain enough speed where my rotor system becomes more efficient, and then it starts leveling off. So it's like a constant lower that I have to do. Tedious thing. Sioux Falls, I would like to try to get out. The next flight, I want to get out to Mount Rushmore. There's a couple places out there. I haven't picked the airport yet. I'll do that on the day. Or tonight after we get off, maybe we'll look at that. But I want to cross the state completely. Cross whatever, Nebraska, South Dakota, do that whole east to west crossing of that state. I figure that's going to be the most boring thing. Regardless, whatever this next east to west, whether it was up here in the far north side of the country or the far south crossing Texas, Oklahoma, like Kansas, Nebraska, whatever, they were all going to be very uneventful. So in my initial planning of this whole adventure, I was looking at and considering all the different paths that I could take and what I wanted to see and what I wanted to explore. And it's like, cool, I've done a lot of flying on stream and in my spare time in California. I've done a lot in Oregon, really haven't touched the Pacific Northwest in Washington State yet. But I've done a lot like California, LA, San Francisco flying. And it's kind of like a pick my battle of what I want to see. I'd rather touch Yellowstone and Montana and Idaho and hit all of those places on this journey rather than go Georgia straight west and then go up the coast. I'd rather kind of diagonal the country. I knew regardless of what diagonal I took, this particular east to west crossing from here all the way across to the next state is going to be a pain no matter where I did it. So I just kind of had to pick where I wanted to do it. I wanted to hit Kansas City because that's where Jake was. I wanted to do Pacific Northwest regardless. Mount Rushmore, I think I went there once. I don't know if I was on the stream or not. But I figured like that'd be a good thing to look at. Yellowstone, that whole area, beautiful area. And I'd much rather look at that than crossing other places as we get further west. So I was just kind of just picking my path due to what I wanted to see, you know. Although I knew regardless it was just going to be boring as shit for this next leg, regardless of where I crossed at. So we're basically in auto rotation right now. I figured I'd just go ahead and kill the altitude while we could. Still got 125 knots of forward airspeed. But I figured kill the altitude now so that way we can see Omaha. And maybe, I'm not sure, this helicopter, I've never tried it in this particular model, so I'm assuming it works, because we are kind of falling at a nice pace here. Maybe we'll do an auto rotation into Omaha International here. We'll get low over the river at like a 1,000 foot sort of thing, and as soon as we hit that second lake, we'll kill power and do an auto rotation to the ramp or something. It's funny, I'm really not going any faster than I was when we were up at altitude, which feels much quicker now that everything's moving in my line of sight. I wonder if the river looks like that usually, or if they're modeling flooding. That'd be something to look into. But yeah, I want to hit once there's an air and space museum I was told to go fly by. They have some airplanes outside. There's some missile silos I want to see if we can spot up there. Mount Rushmore is a thing. I want to say there was something else up there that I wanted to see. And that'll be where we terminate after the next stream. And then from there we're going to hit Idaho and go up over Moscow, Idaho. Got some friends up there that I want to fly by their area. There we'll get up to the northwest corner of Washington. Kind of hit those islands and we'll start bouncing up the coast of Alaska until we get up basically to the far northwestern tip. Cobra? Oh. Military ops happening here. Good for them. But yeah, I feel like once we get north of Juneau at least, it'll probably just all be snow. So I'll stay near the coast-ish. Anchorage, we'll go up and we'll cross Mount McKinley. hit a few the more developed bush airports that I found up there, and hopefully straight line that and cut a day or two off the journey. And then we have an ocean strait crossing, which will be fun. And the part I won't say I'm not looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the whole thing, but it's going to be, tomorrow I feel like it's going to be a relatively boring flight for most of it. And then I feel like going down the Russian east coast is going to be boring. I also think I have a plan where I don't have to touch India whatsoever. So that's a plus. So let's zoom in on here a little bit. Omaha traffic. This is helicopter 42069 Fuckwagon. I've got a guy back here with a Viagra overdose out of Kansas City. We're making our way up to Sioux Falls, but he said he wanted to see an auto rotation into your airport. So here in a few seconds, we're going to do a simulated full-down auto rotation onto your Alpha taxiway at the ramp. Helicopter 42069 Fuckwagon. Let's go. A baseball field right here next to the runway. Make for some cool pictures and videos, wouldn't it? Good spotting place. Okay, we got a speed established of about 90 knots. In my right hand, I've got my governor and throttle switches ready to be flipped. And when I say throttle switch, I mean the throttle itself. So, in the count of 3, we're going to start rolling off that throttle and flipping off that governor switch, and then I'll lower the collective, pull back on the cyclic, and we'll enter auto rotation in 3, 2, 1. Now you can see the torque is basically reading nothing. This thing's not auto-rotating that friendly. It doesn't like extending the glide slope. But we'll pull back and do a little flare. And there we go, that was a power off auto rotation. But yeah, even with my cyclic all the way back, I'm pointing with my normal fingers here. I wasn't really able to get the rotor RPM to get back into a usable range. So, I figured we just kind of keep it more straight down and make it on the ground safely if nothing else, you know, that's the way it should be. So we still got about half a tank of fuel. I believe we're past our halfway point now, so we might be able to do this entire thing on one tank. Adding my left pedal, picking up. Got a hover established. Okay, airport, y'all are good, but we don't care. Also, we were in the wind pretty heavy there. We're taking off at the end of your runway. We don't care what your other people are doing. They can wait for us. We have an erection to take care of. Let's get this thing zoomed out again. We're going to go back to following the river now that we're at a lower altitude. There's somebody way up above us. I don't see him in front of us. Let's split these towers. What do you say? I'm sure they like people doing that. It's probably like a cool thing all the aviators in this community do. They probably split the towers recreationally, you know? Little riverside trailer park, RV park. Let's go. come on. The guy used to say come on after like every sentence that he said. Come on what? Then we all started saying it like unironically for a bit after he did it. So, yeah, whatever. That's his thing. Actually, I want to try another auto into this field and see if I can get the rotor RPM to play friendly. That's wild. I'm going to do the power back on auto. There we go. Yeah, this thing has a lot of rotor speed decay. I'm curious if it's because we're not that heavy right now, or just not modeled perfectly. I'm catching it in time, that's not the issue, so I wonder. We'll see. I'll look into that. Still able to get down safely. There's a lot of inertia in the system. Well, not a lot, but there's a good bit of inertia in the system. So it's holding its RPM. It's just not holding all of the RPM, you know? But for those of you that aren't aware, an auto rotation is the recovery or the emergency safe landing method for a helicopter or a rotor wing aircraft where it's lost engine power. Where basically right now in my flight, the rotors are sucking up air from the top and blowing it out the bottom, keeping us afloat. When you lose power, you want the air, or you're going to be falling, obviously. So the air is going to be coming up from the bottom and out the top. And when you push your collective all the way down, it collectively lowers the angle on all of your blades. And as the air is going through, they actually spin up your rotors to the correct RPM. And then it'd be like the inside or the outside of the rotors will actually fluctuate, where some of it's doing the lifting, some of it's doing the accelerating through, so you kind of feather your collective in a way to find net floating. Keep your rotor RPM up. When you get near the ground, you flare to put as much energy into it as you can, and you set it down nice and easy. The auto rotation. Everybody always freaks out, well, how does a helicopter crash? It falls like a brick. Airplanes are the safer way. I'd much rather be in a helicopter in an event of an engine failure over the middle of nowhere. Because at the end of the day, if I wanted to, if you have a good enough pilot, you can set down the helicopter in basically somebody's backyard versus an airplane where you're going to need something to act as a runway. So let's just say like this parking lot that's right over here. I've entered the auto rotation here. As you can hear, we're losing our rotor RPM, but we're pretty good. And if we said that this place here was the only safe spot to land, even here without any power going to the engine because it's free spinning, I can set it down. Basically in a parking spot safely. And you can't really do that in an airplane, I'm sorry. Yeah, autos are fun. Good thing to practice. It's a good thing to have under your belt as a helicopter pilot, and it's when you're good with it and it happens and you're able to recognize the sound of your, we're going to pretend there's light poles there because I can see the shadows. That's why I kind of adjusted my entrance way into coming off that side. But we're going to act like we're clearing the light poles. Yeah, it's a good thing to practice because, I mean, a lot of people want to like listen to the radio with their Bose headsets or something, and it's but they don't pay attention. They don't want to like listen to the way the engine sounds. It's like if you start noticing something's wrong, it's a good precursor to saving the flights, saving the people on it, because you can hear the engine bog down if something's wrong, or if it starts getting over torqued, or it's having to try too hard to do something normal, or something happens and you're not getting a warning light because it hasn't escalated to that point yet to where a warning light's going to get triggered by whatever the sensors are. Like, it's good to know, it's good to listen to, it's good to be aware of what your aircraft does and what it's capable of. And it baffles me that people don't find it necessary to practice autos. I almost feel like once I am licensed, most of my landings are going to be, oh, head to bed now. I didn't see you say that. If you're still in here, adios. If not, thanks for being in here. You're always welcome, dude. You're fun, dude. Hopefully I'll see you around sometime. We'll go spotting or something together, since you're relatively in the area. And once I'm flying, you're more than welcome to ride along. But yeah, I just don't understand how people can actively not want to work on these different we actually didn't do our autos initially into here. We did it into the freaking the military base. Oopsie. Oh well, it was an emergency. What are they gonna do? Shoot us down? A C-162? I forgot 160. Okay. In 6,000 Newt. Anyways, north we go. Okay, cool. You were still in here. Good night, dude. Sleep good. I'll see you around. It's 11:09 for us, so it is getting late. Luckily, got about 39 minutes left in the flight. So that seems to be still holding true on our estimations. And since we've been in the habit of not flying completely on path today, we're going to go say hello to the tower. Our dude's got a Viagra wiener back here, and we're going to show him off. Attention, gentlemen of the Omaha Tower. Can I please turn your attention to the backseat patient? There's definitely a patient back there. This isn't just a passenger aircraft with a skin on it. But please turn your attention to our person with a problem back here. Let me know what your diagnosis is of his issue. Symptoms are, took 3 Viagra, he's now been erect for 8 hours. We are the doctors. What y'all think? Yep, definitely needs to get up to Sioux City. That's what I was thinking. Okay, gents, have a nice day. I'll circle around you real quick to assert my authority and let you know that I don't care what you're telling me to do. I'm going to block your view of that Southwest flight that's coming in or leaving or whatever. I don't want to get too close because I actually don't know what the hitbox is, if you want to call it a hitbox. And off to the north we go. Thank you, guys. Cessna 162. 162. Okay, I'm going to pick up the phone and check that. I'm not sure. Cool. Let's see. I'm going to click. Doesn't it just look like a 152 and 172? Yeah. Oh, no, that's like the sporty looking one. Okay. There's one that's like more sporty looking. That's the way. Sleeker. Looks newer. Let's make sure I don't have any weird messages or something I need to catch up on. Go back and watch that later. Oh my god. Jason. Really, Teddy. Whatever. Okay, back to it. Let's go, guys. We have 35 minutes left. Oh no, at this speed we got 53 minutes left. We're gonna speed this up and get that number down. There we go. I like that better. 36 minutes. Maybe you don't know where I'm looking. I'm looking down here at our Garmin. This thing probably hates me. Pick a speed, pick an altitude, and pick a heading. We're trying to do math down here. I need a freaking supercomputer to keep up with all my adjustments that I'm making just because I'm exploring while doing this. I want to see everything. We're going to be too far north. We might be too far north. But anyways, at, I think it's Nebraska. Basically the whole western side of Nebraska is actually the largest sand dunes in America, or in this hemisphere, actually. They're just grass covered. So you think, oh man, it's just a whole bunch of fields and stuff out there. If you look at Google satellite imagery, it's actually, it looks like sand dunes because guess what? That's what it is. Need to plug something in. Haha. It is so hard plugging something into a wall socket while in VR and trying not to like make that an outside influence. We're still at 45 there. Aim it a little better. Get my ponies up. Let's go. We're just over half a tank now. We got plenty. Now that Mr. Georgia Plane Spotting is out of here, I don't think I have anybody else in here talking. I've got my account here, monitoring, watching the stream so I can be the god mod if I need to. And I've got my cell phone running my old account, watching. I don't care about the views and the numbers or whatever. That's never been the goal of this. That's really just to make sure that it's working and flowing all right while even on mobile. Because the laptop's running the account. But the big thing is I just want to make sure it's working appropriately for you guys. But since it's just me in here now, I'm going to hunker down and do some flying. If you are in here, feel free to say hey. Give me something to talk about. If not, we got about 30 minutes of locking in, and then we're going to be there. We'll find a place to park and we'll call it a night, and then next flight we'll start going from there. And I'll chat every once in a while. Also, if anybody's wondering why I'm not completely straight and level, my simulator peripherals, the Apache Simulator R44 setup, does not have a self-centering cyclic. So it's nothing where I can put it in somewhere, set the trim, and take my feet off the pedals once it's figured out and whatever. I basically have to babysit the stick the entire time, which not that big of a deal, but if I move around to make myself more comfortable or adjust my headset or whatever, it gets translated to the stick as I'm flying. And it's got a much lower tension level on it. I wanted it to be... I could have made it much, much stiffer. It does have adjustments on it to where I could make it a very stiff experience to handle. But I wanted to keep it looser, more or less, that way I wouldn't be more susceptible to small movements making it an issue. I feel like learning it with it being extremely stiff, although good one-to-one practice, or closer to one-to-one practice, I feel like it could make it too easy to not over-input when working with the cyclic, and I wanted to really make myself have to focus on putting in extremely small movements. I mean, it's almost to the point where I can feel the heartbeat in my fingers move the stick a little bit, which I'm okay with. It's part of my choice or my decision or whatever, and I know, of course, the real thing, I'll be working with a much higher resistance on the cyclic, which is definitely safer, and I'll be able to trim it out during forward, straight and level flight sort of things. So that way I can set it here at my heading and say, okay, cool, 125 knots trimmed in, not gaining any altitude or gaining 100 feet per minute or something like that, and call it good. But it's nice seeing that we're getting close now. This was going to be one of the more boring flights. Where are the flight directors? All the way over there. Unless this has me coming in for a weird approach. Either way, we're about 26 minutes away. We're cruising 127 knots right now. Trying to keep it just under the red. Sorry if I looked right there for a bit. I was watching the stream to see what y'all are saying when I'm sitting here looking at the gauges. It's very limiting to you guys, to where you're basically only seeing the center stack here. Of course, I have my right eye, and I have a much bigger field of view than what I can show because of the VR. Somebody way up high. Probably. And see here as I'm adjusting my headset and my seat and everything, so it's throwing off the flight so much just because the stick moves with a breath. But yeah, me watching the gauges here, like, I'm comfortable because I can look up with my eyeballs and look out the front windshield. But I gotta remember it's gonna be much better for stream if I'm up here looking around. And no, I do need to figure out the jittering with the stream. I have to run a stabilizer because when I do talk, it will, without running the stabilizer, it'll make it a very shaky. I think the stabilizer smooths it out a whole bunch, but it has the occasional, almost looks like a jump cut when I start moving around a good bit. I don't know, that's something that I can tune out. Oh, 30 minutes, goodness. Did I slow down that much? I'm gonna put the ponies back in it here. But the more I look around, the more it's having to stabilize. And sometimes do those jump glitches or whatever it looks like on your side, however you want to describe it. Tell you what, 206 is good range on it. I don't know if this is just program right, or maybe the factory helicopters aren't programmed as well to simulate range. But this 206 L3 seems to be pretty well tuned where it feels like a lot more realistic range for how much fuel would be in here. I'm curious if Sioux Falls is going to be still this. I know it's a small town. I know it's going to a very small city municipality style airport. But I'm curious if there's going to be any more hills or mountainy sort of things like it is over there. Or we're going to still be in this flatter floodplain area for the Missouri, the river. 22 minutes if we keep the speed up. Not bad. Means we should be landing just before midnight my time. I did adjust the time a little bit on today because I was going to start at 8 my time, but if you were watching at the beginning of the stream, then you heard me explain that I was fighting this this PC and VR setup just about every step of the way today. I never do anything different. The computer, don't change any settings. I don't do anything different with the actual headset itself. It's all, I pick it up, I put it on, I put it down, and it charges. But I turned the computer on this morning as I would usually do. Had the headset plugged in to hopefully build a charge so we'd have a good charge for today. And when I put it on, it was at like 30%. Which may be enough to do this flight, but I didn't want a chance losing it halfway through. On top of that, it wasn't connecting right with the computer for some reason. SIM was being glitchy. Nothing that I did changed. It just turn it off, turn it back on a couple of times. I plugged the headset straight into the wall to charge it instead of trying to run it off the lower amperage cord for the computer itself, which I'll do that not tomorrow but the next day. I'll plug this into the wall a couple of hours before the stream to get it up to snuff at a much more efficient rate, and I'm sure that'll be much better than trying to do it as a pulling it from the PC sort of thing. Because I do run this through the PC at the same time, where it's plugged in, and I'm not just doing it wirelessly. And I don't think it has enough power to charge at the same rate that it uses energy. Okay. Thanks for sucking. But, you know, I think I even have it on a setup where it runs through something that has a supplemental power that comes in, but it's still not enough, I believe. I don't know. I can't check power right now with it. while we're streaming. Either way, I know it had enough power for today, so. I got 100 and something days of doing this to figure it out, so hopefully we'll get it figured out by at least day 10. Although I would like to figure out settings to make the jerking action a bit less for the viewers. What's YouTube say there? That's a different thing. Okay, cool. I'm assuming this highway here goes all the way up to Sioux Falls. I feel like that's the next major town. Anyways, it's got to go up there. Let's, yeah, so this has us playing approach on the flight director. I think the Sims thing just has us going straight in. Okay. That's cool. I'm just going to be flying direct anyways. So we'll stay here a bit to the west. Actually, that 18 minutes is going to be to our next waypoint. That's not actually to the airport itself, so we're probably 25 minutes from the airport. And here I thought we were under 20, so we might be landing just at midnight my time. Unless I step these ponies up a little bit. Because I'm also not going to do the sim rate thing and speed this up any during this flight. I want to do this all real time as accurately as I can. Excuse me. Looks like there's a little airport up here that we're going to be flying over. We'll wave it as we go by. Pretty tall cell tower there. Not like some of those ones I've seen in some other states. Probably doesn't need to be as tall here because there's not as much to get over. Line of sight's good on this to just about everywhere in the whole region. Hey, somebody else jumped in here. What's up? How you doing? Just me and you. We are getting close to Sioux Falls, which is our final destination. Say hey if you can. If not, don't worry about it. I'll be flying regardless of you're here or not. But, you know, it's always better to talk to somebody and have a chat going on. Here's our little municipal airport. That is 2 India Alpha Bravo 8, not Bravo. And you weren't in here earlier, so sorry about the wibbly wobblies. I don't have a self-centering stick, and I've got it set to just about as loose as it gets because I want to be very responsible for every input that goes into it. It's a bit of a personal choice and decision on that. The Beatty Airport. The next one up here is Towered, it looks like. A little bitty ramp down there, ain't nothing special. A little municipal setup, pretty cool. Actually, I don't think that was it. I think that's the hospital it's telling me about there. Zoom in. Yeah, I think that's telling me about a hospital pad. It's not on here, but it's on the Garmin. Huh. Looks like there's another airport up here. Yeah, something right there. I don't know why it does that, where it doesn't show me it. Lame. So we're 14 minutes from our next checkpoint, or our next waypoint, but we're not going to the waypoint. We're going direct. Sun's getting lower, but we got time. 12 minutes from the waypoint, about 20 from the airport, I'm going to assume. It's also wild seeing all the unique lake shapes out here because of the way that the river changes course with different times and floods and such. Like you can even see it in the graphics depicting the ground up here on the Garmin, of how different it is because of the water changing course many times over its past. I'm going to try and gain a little bit of altitude so we can see that more and see if it looks apparent or if it's just or it's undistinguishable. But I want to keep the speed up. Keep it over 120. Another little municipal airport there on the side of the road. I'd say municipal, it could just be any airport. I think municipal is small because that's usually what there is here in Georgia. But Yes, there's a little geography associated with these up here. Not a whole bunch, though. Yeah, those are a decent bit away from the river, so the river used to... Looks like it came... like, through there, up around here, back, and then down. That's wild. And you can kind of see its old path. I wonder how recent that was. I wonder what's been like the last major change on the river like the Missouri here. That'd be something to look up. I'm sure somebody's got the information somewhere of the recent route changes of it. Okay, I think we're probably about 10 miles south of Sioux City. Yeah, we're getting there. I would say 10 miles, yeah, we're close. Cool. Yeah, it's giving us a 9-minute time to this waypoint there, but we're not taking that waypoint, we're doing more of a straight-in approach. Sioux City Airport, this is helicopter 42069. We were about 10 miles to the southeast, heading direct for the ramp for a medical pickup. Sioux City Airport. Hey. That works, they're not that important. Except for our patient. He's going to be very excited to get there. Clouds look much lower up here. It's what, 6,000 foot broken? Scattered, broken, more full. I'm tempted to get ATIS, but this system's still so buggy with how our thing, see, it's not even popping up my menu up here. Whatever it does with my pointer. It does with the pointer. No.
Sioux City Airport information, India 0300 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 18. Dew point 5. Altimeter tree 006. 01. ILS runway tree 1 in use. Landing and departing runway 1 tree. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back, hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact, you have India. Sioux City Airport information, India 0300 Zulu.
Sioux City Tower helicopter November 6 1351 is 12 miles southeast 3,000 feet with India to land.
Helicopter November 6135, 1 Sioux City Tower, altimeter tree 007, make straight in runway tree 1.
007.
Fly straight in runway tree 1 helicopter tree 51.
It's helicopter 42069. Besides, that's not even our freaking helicopter. November 285 Alpha Echo. because it's still using the default numbers, and this isn't a factory model. It's an add-on, so it's not going to be perfect. I'll let it slide. We're already 12 miles southeast there, yeah. Get down to 2,000 feet. Of course, I don't know what field elevation is. Not an issue for VFR experts like myself. I would pull it up on my tablet, but the tablet won't let me do any clicking on it. Can't even click the X to make it go away. So, press the tab on my keyboard. Take me out of the moment here, why don't you? So yeah, we're going to call this a good altitude to continue on the approach. I'm going to keep left of main traffic here in case anybody's coming in they want to pass. And we'll sidestep once we get up here near the airport itself. I think that's airport in sight. I believe that's our runway right there. Yeah.
Helicopter Tree 5, 1 wind calm. Clear to land runway Tree 1.
Clear to land runway Tree 1, helicopter Tree 5-1.
Sorry, I was playing around my headset and everything else in, but we're cleared to land. Means we don't have to give a shit about anybody else behind us right now. I'm actually going to zoom this in even more once we get there. Keep on following the highway, I mean, we're technically on final, I guess you could say. We're not straight in. But we'll hit final once we get up over where the highway intersects with the approach path there, and it's like very low here, but we're gonna get our 2 white, 2 red. And start our descent when we hit that area there. And I think we're all red right now because we're a bit low if we were an airplane. Good thing we're not an airplane. There we go, there's 2 white, 2 red. Zoom out my map. Red over white, doing all right. Let's go. Power lines there right before we drop in. Do a little bit more zoomy on here. Hell yeah. And I think I figured out there was some parking on the far northeast corner of there, which is where I want to go. stop there. Make a turn.
Helicopter Tree 5. 1 exit runway. When able.
Cool mode dodge, old 7261 Golf there.
Helicopter Tree 5. 1 contact ground on 121. Niner.
121. Niner for helicopter tree 51.
Oh, why are we glitching? Why are we glitching? We're not gonna mess up this far in. Why are we glitching? Why are we glitching? Why are we glitching? What's going on? Fuel low, I know. Please, sit down. Sit down and let it load in. Why are we glitching? Holy crap. I don't want to lose it this close. Sioux City ground. Taxi north parking, I guess.
Sioux City ground helicopter November 6, 1 tree 5. 1 request taxi to north parking.
Why are we so glitchy right now? We're at the ground.
November 6, 1 tree 5, 1 taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Bravo Charlie.
Oh, that's no way. Look at all these freaking helicopters they have sitting out here in the lot. I'm curious if it's going to put us to the right parking place.
Helicopter tree 5, 1, did you copy?
Taxiing to general
Sorry, dude, I'm
aviation
flying a
parking
fucking
via
helicopter.
taxiway Bravo Charlie helicopter tree 51.
Also, I just want to point out that we got the fuel perfectly. I wish I could call for air taxi, but they freak out doing air taxis and speeding and stuff like that. Doesn't matter, technically. I don't mind taxiing really now that we're not glitching around like we were when we first got down. Tokyo drift this bad boy in here. Back end out. Slide that around. Hit that rev limiter. Bum 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 bum. I'm sorry, it's still wiggly because I'm still adjusting my headset. I'll never be completely comfortable sitting in the seat doing this. Also, 11:51 my time, so we didn't make it before midnight. We should be shut down before midnight too. And it is nice that north parking actually take me to the parking that I wanted to go to. I wonder if they're gonna have a marshal there for me. That'd be sick. The VIP treatment. Slide this around, hit the inner zone here. We're gonna keep our skids off of the grass so we don't catch the light. That'd be no bueno. Somebody text me, but they can wait a few seconds. If this is exactly where I wanted to park. Perfect. Right here where cars can hit me. That is what I wanted. Are you gonna be my parking lady? Can't see what you're doing. Do I have a marshal out here to guide me in? Or is it this lady that's standing inside of a Prius? Looks like it's this Prius lady. So what I'm going to do... I'm actually going to set us down over in this bigger area. Okay, cool. Great flight today. Turn that off. So I'm going to shut you up for now. Position lights can go off. Avionics. Actually, weirdly, I'm going to need the battery on to use this, because for some reason the game wants the battery on for the completely mechanically actuated rotor brake to do anything, so we play by their rules. Oh, almost perfectly ahead. Not bad. And battery off. Sick. Shift C. We are out of here. We have saved the life of our very excited patient. Let's get over here in the sunlight. Pretty good stream today. Good people in here. Some good chatting and talking and discussing and whatever. But yeah, if you're watching this after the fact and you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all those things. Yeah. We're gonna be here. Having fun. Do this again, not tomorrow, but day after tomorrow. But if you're watching this later, that don't matter anyways. So yeah, that was fun. Let's go ahead and end that flight. Where do you have me at? Norfolk, Sioux City. We're over here. I just want to see what... Yeah, see, this is where I wanted to park anyway, so... Set as departure. Let's see, tomorrow, so we're following that up. That's going there. I'd like to get over here somewhere. Black Hills, Rushmore, helicopters together. There's Mount Rushmore, Rapid City. I feel like this is realistic. Set as arrival. I assume that's with fuel. All the way down, let's just look at this fuel distance on the 206L. Am I looking all the way to my left? Let's reset my view so I can look straight ahead. Saving back. Yes, so that will definitely be a longer flight than today. Oh, it's going to be a big one for next stream. Because I don't want to cut that. I'd want to get out here. So we'll do a fuel stop and we could even pick a different helicopter with better range in it. Whether it's... I'll probably end up doing a... I haven't done the Chinook yet. We'll do the Chinook or the 225. I would want to do the 407, but I can't cold start it because of crap with this simulator not working. So we'll see. Maybe we do that. Anyways, it was fun, everybody. We're going to call this an end. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things. We'll see you on the next one.